Howdy, and this is Beefalo Bart here, and welcome to the Beefalo Show. I believe this is episode number 5, and it is a lovely day. Now, major plans for what we're going to do today, more or less. The big topic on hand is the upcoming global event, and more discussion about the actual gameplay experience of 1.8 so far. There's been a lot of talk about all the PvP changes in the Dark Zone and so forth, and I'm not going to get into it. That's not my thing. I don't care about the Dark Zone. I've already voiced my opinion of what we should do with the Dark Zone, and it has nothing to do with PvP whatsoever. I can briefly talk on that, just as a... oh, I don't know. I'll just briefly get on that topic. Let's walk outside, shall we? Why is it every time I come over here it's foggy? I like that it's nighttime because you get to see how the lighting works, and you see the lighting of the number 44 on the ship over there, and yeah, kind of cool. But, you know, my whole thing for the Dark Zone was actually to completely convert it over. You know, we haven't been able to try out the new quote-unquote horde mode, the new mission mode for 1.8 yet. It hasn't come out. Then again, the 1.8 PTS wasn't supposed to come out until actually tomorrow, I believe. And this is, what, day 3 of it actually being out. So I'm thankful that it's here, and it's great that you can get out here and check things out and explore and play around with the new weapons and see how badly things are broken and how things work and so forth. So to quickly touch on the Dark Zone and my thoughts on the Dark Zone. Alright, and I covered this in a different video, and I'll just talk about it, you know, for a little bit here during the show. And right now, it's still going to be the usual. I don't have a real nice way of talking about the Dark Zone. It's just, it encompasses general douchebaggery. There are some things that are going to be avoided, where before, you know, you're still going to have checkpoint hoarding. You're going to have buttholes that are going to sit around the checkpoint, and as soon as you come in, you know, they're going to be rogue and they're going to go after you. And you don't have any warning to say, hey, this checkpoint is held by rogues. There's no immediate flags that go up and say, hey, be warned, this is a rogue zone or whatever. Yes, I understand the whole Dark Zone. You take your chances anytime you go in there, but it doesn't mean you have to be subjected to the douchebaggery. You know, when you've got 2 full teams of 4 people that are working together as manhunt status or what have you, they're just being douches, and they're attacking anybody that comes into the Dark Zone via the checkpoints. And it generally happens in the lower levels, like DZ1. My generalized thoughts were, if you want to at least have it to where people can somewhat try to enjoy the Dark Zone, the first thought is limit it to, since you have all the way up to DZ9, limit the general douchebaggery to the last 2 zones up here, 8 and 9. Let that be just a free-for-all zone, maybe even all the way up here, but at least give 1, 2, and 3. You know, for sure, definitely 1. You could set up turrets and so forth that automatically target rogues or what have you, but it's just a lot of unnecessary crap. My whole idea of the Dark Zone, since we're going to have more organized PvP, we have the skirmish mode, and there's currently about 3 different maps on that. I would actually like to see more types. Yes, let Last Stand be free, and give us some more conventional modes like Capture the Flag and other game modes like that. You know, where you can go into it and have more structured PvP without having NPCs running around. Because if you're trying to go after other players, you want to focus in on them, and you don't want to be focused in on trying to take out an NPC only to have 3 or 4 rogues jump you from behind and just ruin your experience. I don't spend time in the Dark Zone because I either want to fight NPCs or I want to fight players. I don't want to have to do both. So, onward. The Dark Zone. Okay, we already have this big, huge tear in the middle of the map. I mean, you look, it's what, a third of the map? At least, you know, objectively, a good quarter, 25% to 30% or more of the map is the Dark Zone. And honestly, I think it's wasted space. Yes, we have a lot of room to roam. There's a lot of streets I can go out there and do PvE if I want to. But my overall thought is, based on the horde mode style mentality that's supposed to be going on for the USS Intrepid, the carrier that is, what, right here, I think it is. It's not showing up on the map like it used to. Used to be able to mouse over and see where it said Intrepid on it. But you start off in DZ1, and this would be an open world cooperative zone just like the Dark Zone is now, with all the NPCs and the normal level of amount of players that can go into a specific Dark Zone. And you start off there, and it would be essentially, I guess you could say it's like a 40-man raid system from World of Warcraft, in which you go in through checkpoints right here into DZ1, but you would not be able to progress from DZ1 to DZ2 except for going through either of these 2 roadways here. And as far as I'm concerned, you could like block off one of them from DZ1. Since you already have a landmark here, it's a blockade, you would actually have to find, say, 3 bosses or 4 bosses that are in this zone, and only one of them actually has the key to allow you to get into Dark Zone 2. But then once you've got the key, you still have to take out a heavy presence of NPCs at the blockade. So it doesn't matter if you're by yourself or you're a 4-man group or there's 10 4-man groups in there, there's 40 people in there, it doesn't matter. Everybody can be working towards a common goal of trying to take out the NPCs, find the bosses, take them down, and hopefully one of the 4 actually has the key. You don't know which 4, it's random. So you may have to kill all 4 of them to get the key, and then come over here, or fight 3 of them, and you know, you fight the 4th one to be able to get into Dark Zone 2. And I'll make a separate video specifically for this, and it'll be a shorter video where, you know, more people will have a chance to actually get in here and look at it. But then you get into Dark Zone 2. You're going to get progressively harder as you go through the different Dark Zones. So by the time you actually get to Dark Zone 9, you're fighting some heavy duty crap. Now, this is going to be a persistent world in one way. You're still going to have all the NPCs are going to respawn and so forth, but once the bosses are down, they don't respawn until this area refreshes. Now, there's a couple ways of doing that. You could have a persistent world to where once they're down until Dark Zone 9's been conquered. Or, since we have a daily refresh where it refreshes all the stuff, all the missions and so forth, everything, and it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you get all new missions and so forth, and it could be a reset, it could be the weekly reset, just like the doing the exotic runs for the different incursions. So there's a couple different ways it could be done, but I like the idea of having it a persistent world to where it stays up and stays persistent, meaning once the boss is dead, it's dead until Dark Zone 9's been conquered. But the other smaller NPCs will continue to respawn. So just because Dark Zone 1's been cleared and the groups, you know, have worked their way into Dark Zone 3, it doesn't mean that you can just come from this checkpoint, walk right down the street, go right through the checkpoint, and landmark right here, and go into Dark Zone 2 unopposed. You're still going to have patrols to deal with, you're still going to have other NPCs, and they might be more agitated just simply because this area's been conquered already. So as you move from 1 to 2, all the different little areas where you could normally go through an alleyway and then cut through from this street to this street would be gone. They would be blocked, you couldn't pass through them. You know, devs are really good at putting blocks to where you can't get through certain areas, so do that on all the areas where you could sneak between DZ 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 and that kind of stuff. Then only allow entrance through, say, 1 street or all 3 streets. But the only way you could unlock those gates to get from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so forth is actually finding the 3 random bosses. It wouldn't matter if you kill the boss now to get through here. You know, I like the idea of having, you know, okay, Dark Zone 1, you only got 2 roads to go through, and you already have a landmark here, so this will be the blockade. This is the one you have to do. This one would stay blocked. Now, you really wouldn't want to have it to where you just walk straight down the street here, skip over 1 major street, go all the way down, you know, and have a straight line. You want to have it in a zigzag pattern, so from 1 to 2, this is the only place you can get through. 2 to 3, maybe over here. And then as you're fighting through, the only way to get from 3 to 4 would be over here. And just kind of zigzag it back and forth to make players actually have to work to get there. Another nice feature that would be in that would be once you've cleared this checkpoint and got to here, DZ1 is fine. You could use this checkpoint, or this checkpoint. Now, once Dark Zone 1 is clear, now players can, you know, once Dark Zone 2 is cleared, then you'd be able to use this checkpoint or this entrance here, this entrance, or this checkpoint. The only way you could use these extra entry points is if that zone is clear. So if you want to get into the fight for DZ3 and DZ2 is already clear, you can come in here. But you can't just come all the way over here and start in Dark Zone 8 and just fight your way to 9 and okay, now it's over with. All these other checkpoints will be shut down and blocked. And the only way to get from anywhere on the map to this entry point right here, or this safe house, or whatever you want to call it, is you would actually have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 clear, or 3 clear, just so you can get into that entry point. It locks it down to where you don't only have the 3 checkpoints to go into, and then you actually have to walk all the way to here. That's going to take a while for you to walk all the way up there, unless you're actually doing the fighting. But, you know, if it's already this far up, you don't want to walk all the way up there just to get in on the battle. If the fight's in DZ4, you'll be able to, or you should be able to come in to DZ3 through any of the normal checkpoints or entry points, and then just join the fight. If you spawned here and the way you get from 3 to 4 is over here, so then you'd have to walk all the way over there, or you can just fast travel to here and just walk in. There you go. Now you can fight in DZ4. Player versus player damage would be removed completely. No PvP at all in the Dark Zone. This would all be a major cooperative player versus environment, or PvE based zone, and this zone should not reset until Dark Zone 9 has fallen, or the weekly reset is done. Make it difficult enough to where it may take the entire week, or it may take the entire day for players throughout the day to be able to help clear it. You don't want to have, you know, world tier 1 type mobs in here. It needs to be equivalent to, you know, your max tier is world tier 5. It needs to be equivalent to a world tier 6. I mean, they need to be a challenge to get from one zone to the next, instead of right now you can just blow through mobs like there's no tomorrow. So that's my thoughts on the Dark Zone. I will elaborate a hell of a lot more in the actual video that I do just for that. Now, moving on to more pertinent information of the upcoming global event. And yes, I know. And the one thought that I had was, and I'm glad they're kind of sticking to this right now, is I'd kind of like it if they would wait for the global event. You know, it kind of sounds terrible. I wish they would hold off on the global event until we actually have the new patch in place. And for that reason right now, if they do global event on October 3rd and we don't have 1.8 yet, what are we farming for? The old classified gear sets? Or are we going to go ahead and get those classified gear sets? Yeah, how's that going to work? What's the point of farming global event credits if you're just getting the same old crap we already had? So we kind of need 1.8 to be finished enough to get it out there, or at least the gear out there. There's got to be a reason to get out there and farm for all that stuff. Oh no, they're attacking me. "15 kills while in cover." I think I can handle it. So here's the show, and there was something coming. And it took me off cover, you son of a bitch. Alright, so, yeah, that's the whole thing, is what's the point of doing the global event if we're not getting the new gear? So, moving on from that. So, okay, yeah, we got 1.8 into effect. 1.8 needs to be out and released before the global event. And if you try to release both of them at the same time, really and truly, you're going to have the two fighting for each other. You're going to have about a week of fun, and it's going to fizzle out like a bad fart, and people are just going to lose interest. So, release the 1.8. Let us have that for a week. And then, go ahead and do the global event. So we need more for our free money, right? Wow, I didn't. Shit. I'll get you in a minute. You just wait. Alright, so I'm just saying is kind of have to space them out a little bit. And yeah, I want the global event to hurry up and get here, but I also want 1.8 to hurry up and get live as well. We just need more ways, since there's a lot more of the fancy new cool gear. We're going to need more ways of getting it. If we can get it from West Side Pier caches, great. I'll live in this zone. You know, I like the dynamic spawning. It has its ups and downs. Alright, so that one's completed. We just got me a cache there. But, you know, what I haven't seen is of the caches that I have earned. I'm on cover. I don't need to be on cover anymore. I haven't seen any of the new classified gear pieces drop from the West Side Pier caches. So since I just picked up one, I'll walk over here, get out of the area where I find that if you're in this zone right here, you're not going to get any spawns. So when you get over here close to this burn up ass camp, this is where you're going to start getting it. That's why I usually start my videos from right here. So let's take a look at that West Side Pier cache. Now, it shows 163 high-end. Really? Really? And 10 Division Tech? A level 164 item? I'm in World Tier 5, right? Why the hell am I getting a level or gear score 164 item? Why? Why would you give me that garbage? 9,412 damage. Yeah, why would you not give me a 256 or better item? And this is a World Tier 5 in a dynamic spawning zone, and you're going to give me a West Side cache, which is supposed to be special. It's supposed to be awesome. That's just pure garbage. Seriously, y'all need to get on the ball with that one. We need to be able to get a high probability of, maybe not an exotic, but we definitely need a high probability of getting a classified gear piece. You know, I can understand you don't want to give them out for every single solitary one of those you get, but you know, I mean, seriously, give us some missions that just straight up allow us to get them. I mean, what the hell's the point of coming over here and pushing those out if you're not going to get anything but some garbage gear out of it? I can get better gear from a field proficiency cache like that, which... I'll walk over here and I'll open up that field proficiency cache. Kiss my ass going. So, I'm going to clear these bad guys out of the way. All body shots. You suck. Alright, now that they're gone, let's go in here. Just as a pure example, a field proficiency cache from just killing stuff. And look, I got a gear set item and a gear score 282 tactical mask, and I'm going to throw both of them in the garbage, and some Phoenix credits. To me, these are garbage items. They don't do anything for me, but honestly, they're tenfold better than the garbage that came out of the West Side Pier cache. Yes, I know, it's a test server. Give them time to fix it. And I'm sure they're well. Why am I on cover? I got the kick-assery gone. I got the OPA Nomad. Come on, sit down. Sit down. No. You're just going to have to go ahead and sit down. Come on, you can do better than that. Yeah, maybe you can't. So, what do I like and not like about this area? Well, I don't like that currently there is zero way of getting onto the aircraft carrier. There's no way to get over there and get on board. In theory, the new Horde mode missions are going to take place on that, and you're going to be able to board the carrier just by doing those missions. Cool, yes. Good enough, no. I want exploration. And, you know, being an old part PvP'er, to me, open world games are all about exploration. to get out and just explore. I want to check things out. I want to see what the environment has to offer. You're seriously working hard trying to tell me. And you obviously see it's not working. But you're going to stand out there and just keep rattling on, even though it's not working. Pathetic little monkey. But there is no way to get on it. And okay, so you get out here and you fight your way down the streets. And I'm okay with that. I do like being able to walk around and not having to fight for every inch of the street. And you can get, you know, an open buffer like this right here. There's nobody shooting at me right this second. That's cool. I'm fine with that. It's called being dynamic, and it's random spawns, and they can spawn over there. And I don't have to engage them. There's stuff behind me. I don't have to engage them. But it is nice getting blue restock boxes. You can restock your med kits, so you can restock your ammo and your basic frag grenades. And you can stay out here and play for as long as you want. That's a good thing. But let us have the exploration. Let us get out there on a carrier. I want to get out there. We've wanted this for quite a while. Get us all excited for us being able to get the aircraft carrier. But yet, there's just no way to get up there. I mean, you walk all around here, there's stairwells blocked off. All the doors are shut. You know, there's just no way to get anywhere. Those are the secrets. Here he is to do nothing. Seeker just totally didn't track. I mean, as you see, yeah, I'm ignoring these guys over here. There's an upper floor up there that you just can't get to. I don't know. Make it to where there's no easy way of getting up there. Make it to where you can really explore. As soon as I clear these buttholes out of the way, I'll give a perfect explanation is in what in the total hell is going on? Must be some latency related issues going on here. So, I think I can clear these guys out. There's some weird stuff going on. No, I can do it in just a second. Wait here. Anyway. Yeah, the Seeker mine just totally bellowed. But, while they're not here, give us a little small spot where you really have to work to try to find it to be able to get in somewhere. Make the exploration factor of the game a challenge. Okay, so we see that the stairwell's blocked off. We see that there's no way to get in through the doors. But you showing upstairs up here, I want to go there. It's just like going to a strip club. You get to watch girls shaking their things and, you know, rubbing it in your face and blah 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 blah, and you can't touch it. You can't play with it. Give us some little narrow approachway or one little small spot where you can only get in if you go through and jump up on one particular obstacle. So I'll give you the example of trying to find some of the, they're not really spectacular, but in Hudson Refugee Camp. And I'm going to do this in normal mode because I'm not going in there to actually play the mission. I'm going just to demonstrate a specific thing that I've shown in a couple of my videos. Hidden areas. Now, you go in there just to find those little gearboxes, and that's what they're, you know, you're supposed to be able to explore and find them. And this is one of the best ones because I think there's what, at least 2 different ones that actually let you explore to find. 2 good ones at least. Just wanted to clear these guys out so I can progress. Like I said, I just totally don't care about the completion on the mission or whatever else. These guys are just being a nuisance. It's like moving on from here, you actually have multiple different paths. You can go this way, or you can cut through this way over here. Of course, you gotta watch out for the booby traps and that kind of garbage. And I'm just gonna ignore them and run through them. Like, everybody goes this way, so I'm gonna go this way. Ignoring that. You can run through here. You are gonna have booby traps going this way. But it's different. You can quickly circumvent those, bypass the that train car there. You know, you can go this way and bypass those over there, and just quickly cut back and avoid that one. Come on. Now, it's the area just past here where the first one is. Here, take a bow. You gonna bleed out? 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 I ask you a question. Are you gonna bleed out? Obviously you're not. Wasting my time. So, we're going to come over here, and the first of the good ones, there's other spots you can find in here, but there's 2 really good ones. Just blow up, get it over with. Thank you. Have a nice day. It's taking a while to get to my example here, but, you know, that's what I say. We're World Tier 5, but this is normal difficulty. So I'm really not worried about completing the mission. And I'm going to get these guys out of the way because I don't want them sneaking up behind me. I can actually sit there and talk about this. No turret for you. No turret for you. Okay, so if you've never explored this area here, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. If you've never taken the time to explore the maps, this particular zone right here, you come over to this corner, and you got this little passageway here. Come through here. Move kind of quick, but jump over these, you come over here, come here, climb over on top of this, you drop down over here, and you got a door. You open up this door, and now you have a backpack and you have a weapons stash box. It's garbage in there for anybody that's above, you know, level 30, you know, but If I didn't just show you that, did you know this was here? So, in that same example, and the other final example in this particular mission here, if I want to go explore that aircraft carrier, give me some little narrow window, some little narrow approach, or some one little hidden passageway that I can navigate legitimately without having to resort to downloading some kind of hack or whatever else. Some legitimate way of actually getting in there to explore the aircraft carrier. Okay, do a light spawn of LMB inside there or something, and just, you know, nothing major. Just let us have that for the exploration with just a few NPCs. The dynamic spawn is fine, but just give us that little one thing. And again, I should actually make a full organized video just on that, because I really think it's definitely a worthwhile adventure. For all those spelunkers and people who just enjoy exploring. Give us something more to do than just running around and whacking shit with a stick. Now there's a little hidden area that's not really that complicated, not that hard to get to in this section right here. You come over here, jump up. You can jump down here, go over there, and go behind this little wall right there. There's a little box right over there. It's nothing spectacular, but it's different. It's an area that most people don't think to go to. Alright, over we go. Alright. Fire can go out now. I got time for your fire. The final one, which I like also. Again, if you didn't know it was there, you'd never know it was there. Because most people get over here, they do the mission, they complete it, they get it over with, and they just want to quick travel to the next one. Come on, you turtle heads. I'm not walking through your fire. Yeah, this gear set's going to be great for doing speed runs. Why are you making me chase you? Killed all your extra guys. Does that mean I don't get the other swamp? Oh wait, there they are. Come on, get it over with. Alright, so mission complete, and it's not right here, but it's close. Oh. That's real, we'll take that. I don't care about the rest of it, but you open up the keypad, you go up there, you do your completion for the mission if you want. And this is where most people, okay, mission complete, they wait for Faye and whatever to do their little yammering crap. But you come out the door, you come over here, climb up here. Fence, cool guys don't look at explosions. Climb over this fence. Ooh, it gave me a purple. All the way around here, over this, go around your asshole to get to your elbow, all the way over to here, and come over this, go over here, come around, and For all your hard work, you get a Gear Score 45 Classic FAL. Absolute garbage. Complete waste of time if you're on a max level character. But that wasn't the point of this. The point of this was, give us that one little narrow approach. Let us figure out how to find that. Again, if I didn't just go there and you didn't actually look at it, if you didn't know it was there and know how to get there, you wouldn't go. You wouldn't know. You would think, oh, it's just normal division, you can't go anywhere, and you're blocked off from doing any kind of real exploration. Here's a hint. See that big X? Maybe that's a giveaway that there might be something cool. Do I think that you should position something to give us an indicator that there might be something there? Yeah, no. Is there anything here that gives you any indication that there's somewhere you can go and explore? Again, you've got that yellow circle with the X in it. There's nothing really here on this wall to say that there's something to explore. Somebody mentioned to me once before, and there was these little tiny Santa Clauses. And yes, I am so over the whole Christmas theme. No, I'm not anti-Christmas. Shut up. So, I'm not a bah humbug anti-Christmas kind of person. However, one of the things that he mentioned was he saw that there was a little tiny Santa Claus that was outside of an area, and he thought that that was a clue that there was something there. He just couldn't figure it out or what have you. And of course, there's no way for me to get back up till the first part of the mission. That sucks. But we know that we're able to get up there. I don't really think there should be a little marker saying, hey, there's a secret here. Let us figure it out. You know, that's the whole fun of it, is actually being able to go there and say, okay, I really want to get there. How the hell do I get there? And work towards it. Alright, so, that being said, let's go ahead and dispense with some garbage here. I do think also one thing that should definitely be addressed is, honestly, when you're out there doing those missions like that, those boxes really need to be... the scale needs to go up exponentially, especially spending all that time searching to try to get that one box, only to find out that it was a Gear Score 47 or some kind of junk like that. Worthless garbage that you would never use for anything except to sell for a couple credits. Took all that time to get to it. At least make it worthwhile potentially. You know, how hard would it be for the developers to say, okay, to add a check system whenever I go to open a loot crate or loot cache, specifically a loot box like that? Okay, this is going to call back to some of the Unreal Engine 4 stuff that I've been learning, trying to figure out how to create the basics of a game and actually make a game. But whenever you're doing things, programming, especially whenever it comes to a game environment, there's so many checks and balances and so many things you can do to kind of, you know, find out something. You make reference to self so that you know to cast to player or cast to target, target being self. It's kind of hard to explain without actually showing the flow chart. Go away. Being able to see what I'm talking about. But whenever you go over to open up one of those loot boxes, it should do a quick check reference or a reference check to find players gear score. If then it uses integers and so forth, and just say, okay, if gear score is greater than 256, then the item needs to be 256 or higher. You know, give the loot pool from, say, 256 to 265 or whatever. You know, maybe not make it phenomenal, but make it at least appropriate to your gear score by doing a quick reference check of when you go to open it, to automatically check to see what your current gear score is. And honestly, I don't have a quick... How do you physically look to see what your current gear score is? I mean, I look at my inventory and I don't see anything that shows my gear score. I can pull up this item and see that this particular item has a gear score of 293. That's 293. 293. 293. 293. What am I supposed to go over here? Oh, this is gear score 292. 286. 286. 286. So, what, I gotta do math and stuff? I don't like math. Math sucks. So, I actually have to sit there and break out a calculator. And it was 293 times 5 plus 292. And what the hell did I say these were? 286. So, I mean, and then what am I supposed to do? Divide it by 9 items? So it's like 2,615 divided by 9 gives me an average gear score of 290.5. So is that how we're supposed to, manually figure out what our gear score is? Because still, it'd be nice for us to be able to say, okay, right here, there's a little space you could use and show us what our gear score is. Doesn't take that much room. Maybe put it right there. You got a little spot right there. Got a little spot right down over here. Yes, you got right there. Never mind. Okay. Your average gear score, 291. Alright, shut up. Told you I'm old. No shit, so. When you go into your inventory, it are right there, 291. And it's actually more or less correct. What in the hell is that one 292 for whenever everything else is 293? But we're going to move on to the next point. And I'm going to cover this again and again and again and again. And definitely in a separate video specifically for the fact that I want to see these 3 things in the game. And one of them gives a slight method that they can make a little bit of extra money. Make a premium cosmetic set. If you look at your appearance section, you got all the different outfit sets, like Spacefarer, Battalion, Army Special Ops. You got Riot set, Firefighter, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I mean, you've got all these different sets. Snow Marine, Urban Marine, Military EOD. You got all these different gear sets. And then you also have the collection. What the hell was that? Seek out the best gear pieces in the game to complete the collection. Shady. Okay, what the hell was that all about? Exotic gear collection. Okay. So apparently this is new for the exotic gear collection. Ninja Bike Messenger, Barretts, Pharaohs. So It wants you to collect all these different gear pieces, and then you get a mask. Okay, interesting. Alrighty then. So we'll go back to our appearance and masks. Shady. That's just kind of cool. Okay. Let's take off our hat and just take a look at it. That's interesting. You know, just exploring, talking about this topic, was able to find that. I haven't looked around to see if anybody else has noticed that yet either, because, well... That kind of plays into the idea of what I was talking about, or trying to talk about, before I was really interrupted by really cool stuff. Is this something that I would wear every day? Probably no. But it does look kind of cool. So maybe they're going to add this in, or different kind of ski masks and things like that for rewards for the next global event. But having a new cosmetic gear set for, since you got the Shady now, why not have Ninja? And I'm going to elaborate more on that, because it's not just a full ninja costume, so to speak, or, you know, you got the shoes with the separate toe, and, you know, the you know, full black pants, black shirt, you know, incorporated jacket on it maybe that'll cover over your bulletproof vest and all that kind of gear. The backpack to go along with it, that would be a small or invisible backpack, just so you don't have this big huge thing hanging off your back. And where currently right now you have weapon slots for primary, secondary, and sidearm. How many people actually use their sidearm other than when you're throwing up a shield, ballistic shield, and you don't actually have the frontline gear set on? You're stuck with using a shield with a pistol. That would be an option, is to have a melee weapon. A sword. Okay. What about instead of it being the sidearm? That way you don't have to worry about it if you go into... I think it would actually be really cool to go into the frontline gear set. You deploy your shield, even if you're not in the frontline gear set. We'll say you're in a full tactician's build, or you're in a full nomad set, or whatever. Like right now, I'm full nomad, 6-piece nomad. What if I want to deploy a ballistic shield, and instead of having a sidearm, having a melee weapon? You know, a police baton, or, you know, a stun baton, or a sword, or, you know, what have you. I think that would be pretty kick-ass. But for the full ninja set, I would say probably you would have the shoes, the pants, the shirt, jacket, the hood, kind of like what I'm wearing right now, but all black. And then have at least a straight sword, you know, a ninja style sword. And sure, why not carry a sidearm with a suppressor? And, you know, the idea of, before we're talking about what I'm going to get into the next after this part, you know, the frontline gear set, 6-piece, the 6th piece of that allows you to have this super high melee damage. So why not give us that ability with the ninja gear set? So if you equip this particular sword, you get plus 2,000 melee damage. If you equip the baseball bat, you get plus 500 or plus 750 or whatever melee damage. You know, percentage-wise, or what have you, a big, high scalable melee damage. So by doing that, gives us an incentive to try to work towards having those melee weapons. I would definitely use them. And with the ninja gear set, you know, really and truly, it would just be purely cosmetic. But, you know, who's to say that, you know, it wouldn't be another complete full setup later on. But, you know, with it being a pure cosmetic thing, wanted to cover all the other tactical gear, if possible. Like, I would like an invisible holster, and no knee pads, and no bulletproof vest, and straps, and so forth. You know, instead of where the patch goes, instead of having that big zippered pocket thing right there on, just have it to where it's just a straight ninja suit. Purely cosmetic. The melee weapons, completely separate, and either let them replace an existing weapon in your loadout. You can replace it with number 1, 2, or 3 slot maybe. I would accept it either to replace my sidearm, which is a very viable thing, because most people don't use a sidearm. So give us the melee weapon in the sidearm slot. That would probably be the most logical. That way I can keep a sniper rifle if I want to, a submachine gun if I want to, and then at close proximity. Because handguns are really a close proximity weapon. They're a fail-safe. So why not give us the option of replacing our sidearm with a sword? Alright. Moving right along. And I see somebody else wearing a mask. So, the same mask. So I'm not the only person that found it. I'm not special, damn it. Well, special ed, perhaps. But, that being the case, I'm putting my damn tuxedo hat back on. I don't really have many hats. No, and it wasn't the tuxedo hat that I was wearing. I was wearing the black suit hat. I'm sorry, that does kind of look a little bit goofy and cool at the same time. Alright, so the next topic would be, and again, I'm going to do a separate video for each one of these instead of just combining it all in one. Grenade launchers. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 times more. They're in the game already. NPCs have them. NPCs use them. If you were to go right now to pick up the supply drop, which I've already picked up, so I don't know another quick way to do getting to them, but when you go to pick up your supply drop, you're going to face at least 5 to 7 grenadiers, and they are going to grenade spam the living hell out of you, and they're using the M32 grenade launcher. The M32 grenade launcher is in the game. NPCs get to use it. The model is physically there. The animations are there. The functionality of the weapon is there. The ammo for the weapon is there. It's all there. Give it to us. The other thing also, right now, if I hit the number 4 key, it selects hand grenade. Okay? I'm alright with that. So what if instead we have, I don't know how you rearrange this to add another piece in, but you have this, this, and this. They can be pushed over and would fill up this slot right over here. So these two right here could actually be right here. So essentially you're moving this one over a little bit and this one to right here. And then this spot right here, give us the number 4 slot and let that be an alternative to changing out all of these, so your melee weapon could actually fit into the number 4 slot, but whatever. Instead, let this be an optional grenade launcher spot. Do I want everybody to have a grenade launcher running around? No. Okay, but we already have the M32 in the game. give us a couple single shot grenade launchers, and my alternative and option for running this is also when you hit the number 4 key. Now currently I have the incendiaries selected, and if I hold down the number 4 key, then I can physically select which one I want. I don't really like that method, so why not be able to tap the number 4 key to cycle through? We see the icon. You see where it says 4G, and then it has a little icon there. You can also hold down the G key, and you can see which ones are which. Since we have 2 different keys for selecting the same damn grenades, why not be able to just tap the number 4 key and cycle through the grenade that we're going to choose, and then if we have a grenade launcher, as soon as we hit the number 4 key, it holsters your current weapon and it draws a grenade launcher out, and then you get the same basic deployment system. Now I also think that, okay, honestly, and this is only going to apply to a select few, how many of you out there watching these videos have ever thrown a real hand grenade? I'm not talking about some airsoft bullshit. I'm talking about an M67 or other countries, equivalent to an actual physical fucking grenade. Yes, potty mouth. The distance you can throw a real hand grenade, that's kind of stretching it a little bit. And the arc, you really lose sight of where you're throwing it if you get past, this point right here. Do you really think you can throw a real grenade that far? Say, bring the range back on the grenades. No, not to here. But bring the range back on grenades to about right there. About to where the back of that truck is. That's about normal. And it's sad that, the HUD that we can't move, that should be fixed on the bottom right hand corner of the screen perhaps, is blocking my visibility of seeing where I'm throwing that grenade. What if I want it to bounce off that truck there, or bounce off the car and land over there, or if I want it to bounce off of something and hit that JTF officer, like that. I want to bounce it off that wall and get it to drop on the other side of that. So in the same aspect, you give us a grenade launcher, and when you go to deploy your grenade, instead of having to arc way up here like this, have a more realistic arc system. And now the range of throwing a hand grenade would only be to right here, but if you had a grenade launcher, realistically, like the M203 grenade launcher, which could potentially later on be an underbarrel attachment. Now I'm going to climb back up here because it's going to give me that much more tactical advantage of view-wise. Honestly, most of the guns are not going to have more than, and let's look at your character. Your distance, range, 17 meters, optimal range with current weapon. Let's break out this one. And you look at character, optimal range 29 meters. But if you break out a sniper and let's look at that. Range 62 meters. Okay, so you have that different range ability. Essentially, you're looking at about there. Really and truly, you're not going to make shots past that anyway. So, since you already have a range system built in, if I were to try to use a pistol for that range, I'm not going to hit that dog running way the hell out there with this pistol because I just don't have the range with it. So you already have a range system for the weapons and effectiveness, but I would say that the grenade launcher would have the same effective range as a sniper rifle. And arc-wise, since this shows the arc of the actual round, it needs to do the same thing. The circle being the blast radius, and realistically, if I'm aiming with a grenade launcher to shoot at that spot right there, I'm going to be arcing somewhere in the neighborhood of around maybe there. So having the effective range of the grenade launcher to where, you know, it's like this right here. Really? Why do I need to have, you know, a range that extends beyond the viewpoint? That would be it. You would need to flatten out the arc a little bit because of the velocity change of grenade launcher, but yeah, that's just my thing. Give us the damn grenade launchers. It won't take that much to allow us to carry them. My theory is to actually, like I said, move this over to where this is, and give us the number 4 slot, and let us have grenade launchers and melee weapons in this slot. Or at least, yeah. If we're going to have grenade launchers for this slot, then okay, let us have it in that slot. Let it use our current grenade count that we can carry right now. Can that be exploited? Yes and no. You can only carry so many hand grenades to begin with. You know, if you run a Firecrest set, you can carry a couple extra incendiary grenades, but essentially your basic count is 2 of each type with 3 incendiaries with a Firecrest and 3 regulars. So that would be your loadout of grenades. You blow through them awful damn quick and you just have no grenades. It will change the dynamics considerably. You don't have to change the damage or blast radiuses or anything like that of grenades now. We know that with the short bows knees, it reduces the fuse time of the grenades to, you know, 0.2 seconds or whatever. You throw it out there and pretty much it goes bang as soon as it hits. Essentially the same factor. You can use that same friggin' buff from the knee pads and put it on a grenade launcher. So as soon as it actually hits a target, it blows up. Be it, you know, like I say, if I'm targeting this, it's about a 3-second delay. You reduce that with the short bows to 0.2 seconds. So as soon as I shoot my grenade launcher, it's going to, and bang. As soon as it makes contact with ground, perhaps, or whatever, you know, just, honestly, I wouldn't even change a thing. Just, if you want that short fuse, then okay, wear some short bow. But you could apply that same short bow buff to the grenade launcher, and there you go, problem solved. So, alright, getting off that soapbox. So, to recap a little bit of what we talked about, and I'll probably end up cutting this video just a little bit short, instead of the full 2 hours. We'll run it to almost an hour and 15, hour and a half. One of the things that we covered was the conversion of the Dark Zone into a global open world raid area for essentially the same kind of population of what we have now for the Dark Zones, but it would be an open world raid where, you know, if the population cap of the Dark Zone 1 is 20 players, then leave it that way. You know, make it to where it's a 20-man raid. If Rumple Foreskin over here decides he's going to leave, that opens up space for one more person to join. And then whatever, if DZ1 is full, you go in there, he just puts you in a different queue group or a different group. You don't have to queue up for anything. There's no more waiting for a group, no more waiting for like last stand or waiting for anything. No changes to the way you enter the Dark Zone now as it is. The Dark Zone would then be an open world PvE only with no player versus player damage, no PvP damage. An open world raid zone with major world boss with, we'll say, 4 bosses per zone, fighting your way all the way to the very, very end, trying to take out the Ed El Honcho, whatever the hell, big boss. Alright. Awesome idea. I think it's great. I'll make a separate video just on that. Okay. The other thing was talking about having a full cosmetic set for Ninja. And that can also include, I would definitely do the Ninja. I would damn sure do a full cowboy outfit. Think about how many smacktards will be running around wearing a full clown suit. Okay? Think of all the other potential cosmetics that you could do as opposed to the normal tactical gearing stuff that everybody and their brother wants to wear now. I'm wearing a tuxedo with a full face mask. Hey, to each your own. Alright? The next thing that I talked about was, besides the cosmetic gear, adding in melee weapons. Yeah, totally straight up melee weapons. Swords, axes, police batons for using with the riot shield, and PR-24s, the extended batons, or the ASP, or whatever. Just give us a wide selection of melee weapons. And final major thing that I talked about was the grenade launcher. Give us the damn grenade launcher. It's in the game. Let us do it. And one of the other topics that I covered was, just like in Hudson Refugee Camp, the 2 areas that I went to that are hidden exploration areas, give us a challenging way to run around and search for a way to get into the aircraft carrier and explore the aircraft carrier. Throw some spawns on there. I mean, what the hell? You've already got a tent up there on top of the deck of the carrier. You got some helicopters and stuff like that. I don't know why you have a tent up there on the carrier, but just like in the rooftop section of Hudson Refugee Camp, where you circle around and you find that one little spot where you climb over this and climb over that and go over this fence and around that. Give us that little exclusionary hidden pathway to be able to get onto the aircraft carrier, and then give us a couple little random spawns of NPCs to go after. They can just be reds, because the whole point of getting onto that is for the exploration aspect of it, not just only for a PvP only experience or a PvE only experience. No, we just want to explore. Give us the exploration of the aircraft carrier, the other areas like that elevated walk path, the Skyline car park over here, the roof of that building up there, or whatever. Give us some more exploration things to do, but make them challenging to figure out where the entrances are and how you get in and around and so forth to get into that. So, and that is the final topic that I believe that I covered for this video and for today's Beefalo show. Again, if you're watching now, if you're watching on YouTube Gaming, please take time to run over to standard YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment on any of the topics that I covered in this video. And if you are watching the live stream right now, again, if you're on regular YouTube watching this, please take the time to give me a thumbs up, leave me a nice comment, and subscribe to my channel. I need to get past a 1,000 subscriber mark. I really, really, really need to get past the 1,000 subscriber marks. I really need that help. Doesn't take time. You don't have to turn on alerts. You don't have to turn on anything special. Just subscribe. You can turn off the alerts to where you don't get bugged every time I make a video. I personally sometimes don't give a damn about everybody's videos, and I don't want to know every time somebody farts. I don't need a notification saying that something is happening. If I care, I'll go look. So, take take the time to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a nice comment about the topics of the video and what you think about my ideas for those items. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I thank you, and have a good evening, and we'll see you in the next video.